In today's video, we will review operations conducted against North Korean soldiers over the past 3 months. Ukrainian forces have carried out strikes using kamikaze drones and other unmanned aerial vehicles, targeting North Korean troops. These attacks have often forced the soldiers to attempt to flee or launch unsuccessful counterattacks. Footage has documented that North Korean infantry advancing in open areas were unable to develop an effective defense against incoming drones, resulting in significant losses. 16th February 2025. The 47th Mechanized Brigade of the Ukrainian Army, while operating in the Kursk region, identifies a North Korean soldier moving alone. Ukrainian drone operators continuing their operations in the area begin to track the solitary soldier. Unaware of the drone, the soldier proceeds forward as Ukrainian forces prepare for an attack. The drone is precisely directed to its target, and at the perfect moment, it drops its payload. The explosion knocks the North Korean soldier to the ground. The shock from the attack causes the soldier to lose consciousness and remain motionless. In the subsequent footage, another North Korean soldier arrives at the scene. He checks his fallen comrade but receives no response. However, it's clear that the soldier is still alive. The fate of the fallen soldier remains uncertain. Following the operation, reports provide no further information on the fate of these two soldiers. Given the severity of the injuries sustained by the soldier, survival in the area is extremely unlikely. With the ongoing intense Ukrainian airstrikes and continued operations, the chances of these soldiers having escaped seem very low. February 14, 2025. The 8th Special Forces Regiment UOREG of the Ukrainian Army shoots and severely injures a North Korean soldier in the Kursk region. After the attack, the soldier collapses to the ground and remains motionless. Ukrainian troops send a reconnaissance drone to observe the soldier's condition. The drone begins tracking from a close distance to detect if the enemy is moving. The North Korean soldier attempts to survive by playing dead, a classic war tactic. However, the Ukrainian operators are experienced with such tricks and continue to watch the soldier closely. Shortly after, the wounded North Korean soldier opens his eyes to assess what is happening around him and looks at the nearby drone. However, this move leads to his demise. Once the Ukrainian forces confirm that the enemy is still alive, they launch an attack. The drone is swiftly directed towards the target and its bomb is dropped. As a result of the explosion, the North Korean soldier is completely neutralized. February 14, 2025. The 36th Marine Brigade of Ukraine continues its patrol activities in the Sverdlikovo settlement in the Kursk region and detects Russian and North Korean infantry advancing on foot. The soldiers' movements are closely monitored by drones, waiting for the right moment to strike. First, an FPV drone is sent to neutralize the soldier at the rear of the enemy group. The drone drops a bomb on the designated target, creating a powerful explosion. The intensity of the blast knocks the enemy soldier to the ground, leaving no chance for survival. After the attack, Ukrainian forces pursue the other enemy soldier walking at the front of the group. A bomb is strategically placed on the soldier's escape route. The attack hits precisely, neutralizing the enemy soldier completely. In another settlement in the region, North Korean soldiers are found to be stationed. Ukrainian reconnaissance units thoroughly examine the enemy's position and formulate an attack plan. The high-destruction Vampire drone is deployed to eliminate the target. The drone drops a bomb on the enemy position, creating a violent explosion. After the attack, North Korean soldiers who fled into a building are completely wiped out by a series of attacks carried out by Ukrainian forces. The building is heavily damaged and the soldiers inside have no chance of survival. Finally, remaining enemy units in the area are detected one by one and neutralized. Ukrainian forces secure complete control of the region, significantly eliminating the enemy presence. February 12, 2025. The Chimera unit of the Ukrainian forces detects North Korean infantry in the Kursk region. The enemy soldiers, unaware that they are being tracked by Ukrainian reconnaissance drones, move across open terrain. As soon as the Ukrainian forces identify the targets, they waste no time and launch an attack. Drones are directed towards the enemy units, carrying out high-precision strikes. After the initial attacks, the North Korean soldiers attempt to flee in panic. During their escape, some enemy soldiers try to hide in forested areas covered with dry trees. However, their efforts prove futile as Ukrainian reconnaissance drones scan the wooded areas, pinpointing each enemy position. Each North Korean soldier is targeted and neutralized with precise attacks from FPV drones. With no enemy units left in the area, the Ukrainian forces successfully complete the operation, delivering a significant blow to the enemy's presence in the Kursk region. February 10, 2025. The 47th Mechanized Brigade detects a large-scale Russian attack west of Nikolsky village in the Kursk region. The assault begins as Russian and North Korean infantry attempt to infiltrate the area in a coordinated manner, moving through fields and open spaces. Some enemy units try to breach Ukrainian defense lines by entering forested areas and attempting to advance stealthily between the trees. The attack begins at midnight, and Ukrainian forces respond immediately. To strengthen the defense, M2 Bradley armored vehicles, cluster artillery, and drones are deployed. Intense bombardment slows the enemy's progress, giving the Ukrainian forces an advantage. The battle lasts for a full 16 hours. Despite suffering heavy losses, the enemy continues to push forward but fails to succeed against the coordinated Ukrainian defense. After intense fighting throughout the night, the assault is finally repelled by dawn. As a result, the large-scale Russian attack fails due to the superior defensive strategies of the Ukrainian forces. The enemy is forced to retreat after suffering heavy casualties, and Ukraine's control over the region is further strengthened. December 17, 2024. The 17th OVMBR detects North Korean infantry in the Kursk region. The North Korean soldiers are left vulnerable to Ukrainian drone strikes and are unable to respond effectively. Drones identify and strike the North Korean troops one by one, rendering the enemy soldiers powerless against the high-tech drones. Some enemy units attempt to hide behind trees in a forested area. However, this tactic poses no obstacle for the Ukrainian operators. Thanks to advanced reconnaissance and tracking systems, all hidden enemy soldiers are easily detected and targeted. As a result, Ukrainian forces eliminate all North Korean units in the region. Despite attempts to escape or hide, each soldier is neutralized by Ukraine's air power. With this operation, the North Korean soldiers suffer heavy losses and Ukrainian forces solidify their control over the region. December 17, 2024. Ukraine's 8th SSO unit detects a large presence of North Korean soldiers in the Kursk region. The North Korean soldiers, moving in a line across open terrain, suffer heavy losses from Ukrainian drone strikes. As the attacks disrupt their formation, the North Korean troops quickly split into smaller groups and attempt to scatter across the area. However, these movements make them easier targets for the Ukrainian operators. Some North Korean soldiers attempt to hide near nearby trees. However, exposed soldiers are individually targeted and neutralized by Ukrainian drones. The enemy troops hidden in the forest are also neutralized through further drone strikes. Ukraine's reconnaissance and tracking systems swiftly detect these soldiers trying to conceal themselves, and the attacks are carried out with precise, pinpoint accuracy. Overall, the North Korean troops failed to implement an effective strategy in the combat environment. Unable to defend themselves against drones, the North Korean soldiers are left only to hide and attempt to escape. As a result, the North Korean units suffer significant losses due to Ukraine's drone attacks, and the region's security forces strengthen their control over the area. December 17, 2024. The Symargl Ukrainian UAV team, part of the 1st Mechanized Battalion of the 22nd Mechanized Brigade, detects a scattered group of North Korean soldiers in the Kursk region. The enemy units in the area are quickly identified and targeted by Ukrainian drones. Ukrainian operators launch a direct attack with their drones, successfully making precise hits on the enemy soldiers. As a result of the attacks, the North Korean troops suffer heavy losses, and the threat in the area is neutralized. This successful operation highlights the effective use of Ukraine's aerial reconnaissance power in securing the Kursk region. Thanks to the drones, the enemy's movements are detected and swiftly neutralized, further strengthening Ukrainian control over the area. February 24, 2025. The 8th Special Forces Regiment of the Ukrainian Army, specifically the UA Reg unit, detects a North Korean soldier in the Kursk region. The soldier is lying motionless on the ground, and a Ukrainian reconnaissance drone carefully approaches to assess the situation. The drone lands near the soldier, attempting to gauge his reaction. The North Korean soldier remains still for a long time, offering no response. Suddenly, he panics and jumps to his feet, trying to flee. In response, the Ukrainian drone maneuvers threateningly and begins to pursue him. Realizing he can't escape, the North Korean soldier helplessly stops and waits. Possibly frightened by the drone's aggressive movements, he tries to swat it down with his hand instead of reaching for his weapon. However, the high maneuverability of the FPV drone allows it to easily evade the attack. If the soldier had successfully hit the drone, the explosion from the impact would have likely killed him. After a few more swift maneuvers, the Ukrainian drone finally goes on the offensive. The North Korean soldier, now aiming his weapon at the drone, finds that it is too late. The drone drops its ordnance, causing a massive explosion, and the North Korean soldier is killed on the spot. February 19, 2025. While conducting reconnaissance operations near the village of Nikolske in the Kursk region, Ukrainian forces detect a group of North Korean soldiers. Close examination by reconnaissance drones reveals that one of the soldiers is wounded. The injured soldier is being assisted by his comrades as they attempt to move him to a safer area. Ukrainian reconnaissance units continue to monitor the group carefully, and an FPV drone is directed to the area for an attack. By the time the North Korean soldiers realize the impending danger, it's already too late. The drone dives toward a pinpointed location and drops its explosive. The explosion causes the group to scatter. One soldier is killed instantly while the others panic and begin to flee. One of the surviving North Korean soldiers attempts to escape by running. Ukrainian forces track the fleeing soldier and send in a second FPV drone. The drone targets the soldier, but he survives the attack, though wounded. With his mobility severely limited, the soldier tries to escape once more but is unable to continue due to exhaustion and his injuries. Ukrainian forces deploy a third FPV drone to neutralize him. This final attack completely halts the soldier's escape, and he is killed on the spot. A few minutes later, another North Korean soldier who had managed to flee the area earlier returns to check on his fallen comrade. After confirming the soldier's death, he quickly leaves the area. Reports do not provide any further details about this soldier's fate. However, it is speculated that Ukrainian forces may have been unable to pursue this soldier due to equipment or ammunition limitations. What are your thoughts on this situation? Feel free to share your comments with us. 17th February 2025. While operating in the Kursk region, the UA Reg unit of the 8th Special Forces Regiment from the Ukrainian Army detects a group of North Korean soldiers. Once the soldiers realize the presence of drones, panic sets in and they attempt various defense tactics. However, these efforts mark the beginning of a fatal sequence of events for them. In an attempt to neutralize the threat, North Korean soldiers try to physically attack the drones. Some fire their weapons at the drones, while others try to knock them out using their hands or nearby objects. However, these drones are not autonomous machines. They are all remotely controlled by experienced Ukrainian drone operators. To counter these efforts, Ukrainian drone operators employ various tactics. The drones use sudden maneuvers to confuse the enemy soldiers and wait for the most opportune moment to strike. Despite the North Korean soldiers' attempts to evade or mislead the drones by changing direction, the highly precise FPV drones continue to pick off their targets one by one. The conflict in the area turns into a complete disaster for the North Korean soldiers. By the end of the operation, all identified enemy forces are neutralized. This event further demonstrates the precision and lethality of Ukraine's UAV operations. This attack exemplifies the strategic advantage and deadly efficiency of modern drone warfare in modern conflicts.